What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Smackdown Live review for June 18th, 2019. Man, Smackdown Live. Smackdown Live is, if not, is just as bad as Monday Night Raw. Smackdown Live used to be a safe haven. Not more than 4 months ago, before WrestleMania, Smackdown Live, even though it was nowhere close to what it was in 2016, was a safe haven from Raw. It was a safe haven from the bullshit we get on Monday Night Raw. It was more wrestler heavily focused. It was not all about Shane McMahon, and it was something to look forward to when Monday Night Raw goes off the air. We can look forward to SmackDown Live, at least watching that taste out of our mouth. Since WrestleMania, since the brand extension is pretty much, the brand split is pretty much dead, the wildcard rule came into effect. SmackDown Live has been Monday Night Raw right again for the umpteenth, right before we get to October. The biggest problem of SmackDown Live until it went to live, became live, was from 2000, I'm going to say 2011, 2016. SmackDown Live was practically Raw Light or Raw Highlight Reel, where you had highlight packages from Monday Night Raw or rematches from Monday Night Raw on SmackDown Live. SmackDown at the time, SmackDown did not matter. Now we get to the brand split in 2016, and SmackDown has the best thing going. It feels awesome. It feels fresh matchups, and everything makes more makes sense than it doesn't. We're not getting our intelligence insulted, and the show felt great. The show definitely felt different, especially that first month. The first month of the brand split felt great because SmackDown and Raw looked totally different. They had different entrances. They had different. The camera angles were different. They were presented a little bit differently. And then we got the SummerSlam, and they got the same. They went with that same freaking entrance for both shows, and it was like really boring as fuck. But still, SmackDown Live was the best show for the main roster. And then 2017 hits, and we get the mini reign of terror of Jinder Mahal as your WWE champion, the WWE failure. AJ Styles takes the title off of him, holds it for a little over a year, coming very close to the CM Punk record, missing it by a month and a half, I believe. And SmackDown Live just could not recover from what Jinder Mahal did to it. Then Daniel Bryan wins the WWE Championship Tuesday before SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and reinvents his character to be the best heel in the business, outside of Tommaso Ciampa at the time. On the main roster, Daniel Bryan was the best heel, and it's got to suck for Randy Orton because Randy Orton, right before that, just returned as the vicious, vile heel that he wanted to be, taking a screwdriver through Jeff Hardy's ear in a Hell in a Cell match, and trying to just be a sick fuck and maniacal fuck that we all know and love from Randy Orton as a heel. Daniel Bryan pretty much came back and stole Randy's thunder, and we really haven't seen Randy Orton on TV outside of the Super Showdown and the Monday Night Raw before Super Showdown. Which is fine, we don't need to see Randy. He doesn't really need to wrestle again if he doesn't want to. But Daniel Bryan became the best heel on the main roster. Story built between him and Kofi Kingston was the best storyline for SmackDown Live in a very, very long time. One of the best stories, one of the best natural builds we've had with the fans getting behind Kofi Kingston. We get to WrestleMania. We have the big moment of Kofi winning the WWE Championship. And then everything just goes downhill from there. Like I said yesterday, Kofi and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's all their title reigns have been a massive disappointment. Not on the fault of them. It's the fault of WWE and their piss poor booking practices and the fact that they can't come up creatively with fresh opponents, with creative matchups. You're giving Lacey Evans another title match with Becky Lynch when she doesn't deserve it after losing clean. But you don't have anyone else built up, and you don't even want to build anybody up, even though you have Naomi, you have Natalya, Sarah Logan, I guess, cut a promo last night. It looks like she's going to be probably joining her husband in the Viking Raiders, which would be fine, I guess. Sasha Banks is on hiatus. Ruby Riot's out with an injury, but you don't have anybody for Becky Lynch to go up against. So they give it to Lacey Evans, who can't cut a fucking promo to save her goddamn life, can't fucking wrestle to save her goddamn life, has a terrible stage presence and all. She just isn't a believable person in WWE. I just don't believe her worth shit. Seth Rollins has to have been, ever since Money in the Bank, has had eyes in the back of his head, because we have to wonder, is Brock Lesnar going to come out and cash in, or is he going to bait and switch us for the millionth time? Smackdown Live has Kofi Kingston, who still hasn't taken his championship reign seriously, comes out holding a tray of pancakes still, flipping them like a fucking child. Guy needs to grow the fuck up, and he's been here for 11 years, acting like a child still. Yes, it got you to where you are, but you need to be better than that. But what has he had? He had it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston going into Money in the Bank, but Daniel Bryan was injured, and they didn't know if he was going to be back in time. So I think the only thing that was great was the fact that in Big E going down was a blessing in disguise, because it gave them a reason to get Kevin Owens to turn heel, even though Kevin Owens was brought back to be a babyface. That's why he was given the stunner as a finisher, was because they wanted to get him over as a babyface. Daniel Bryan's out of commission for a little bit of time. Big E's out with an injury. Blessing in disguise for WWE, because then you get the great heel turn by Kevin Owens on Kofi Kingston, giving us a match at Money in the Bank, and they had a good match. Okay. Then we get the, it should have been me! It should have been me! Dolph Ziggler, who is a Raw superstar, by the way, using the wildcard rule for the last month and a half. Coming back because Kevin Owens doesn't want to go to chose not to go to Saudi Arabia. And the only reason he's getting a rematch is because, we only have like 2 weeks after Super Showdown to do a new pay-per-view, and we really don't have time to build anybody up, and we can't give a valid reason why Kevin Owens should get a title match. So Dolph Ziggler gets a cage match, and because Xavier Woods practically screwed him out of the championship. But his title reign has just been meh. Nobody's title, nobody. None of the titles, of course, we know mean nothing. Samoa Joe was given back the WWE United States Championship. Finn Balor hasn't even been seen outside of Super Showdown on SmackDown Live, and he's the Intercontinental Champion. Roman wasn't on SmackDown tonight, so I don't know what's going on there. Roman's a SmackDown superstar, but I guess he'll be on Monday Night Raw on Monday. But this show has fallen so far in 2 years. Because I can't say 3 years, because it was great in 2016. But by this time, 2 years ago in 2017, this show just crashed and burned. AJ tried his best to bring the show back up to meaning something, but the booking just started to fuse itself more with Monday Night Raw and feeling more like a Monday Night Raw light show. And here we are with SmackDown Live just not being what we used to see in SmackDown Live. This show was not good. No, it was not good. Monday Night Raw had 2 matches that I enjoyed, with the Fatal 5-Way and the main event of Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. Everything else in between was terrible. Tonight, everything was terrible. Everything. We had a tag team elimination match. We had a 2 out of 3 falls tag team match, which made no fucking sense. R-Truth loses the 24/7 champion, the 24/7 joke to Drake Maverick. Nothing on this show was good. You had Ember Moon stand up to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, finally getting in a brawl with them, knocking their donuts out of their hands. It's just nothing was good on this show. I have a closet door right here beside me that needed painted. I painted this closet door once and twice during SmackDown Live and got more enjoyment out of painting. I hate painting, by the way. I hate painting. And more enjoyment painting this closet door than watching SmackDown Live. That's how bad SmackDown Live was. They also showed us a replay of the Firefly Funhouse, and I can't be the only... I'm hoping I'm not the only one who thinks this, but the Firefly Funhouse to me peaked when they showed The Fiend off. When Fiend showed up and you got that crazy, cynical, maniacal-looking monster mask on a Bray Wyatt That was when the show peaked, and the show has just—it's when the show hits its peak and it starts to go in its decline. And it started to decline, and as of last week, I am absolutely over the Firefly Funhouse, bored with it, and just can't wait to see what they do to ruin Bray Wyatt. Because the biggest reason why I'm already bored and over the Firefly Funhouse is because when Bray Wyatt comes into the wrestling ring, we all know how it's going to go. They don't see Bray Wyatt as the top guy, as somebody they're going to push. So after he gets back into the ring, they're just going to bury him again. He'll go up there, he'll have some kind of big marquee match against somebody, and he'll lose. He'll be the eater of L's again, the eater of pins, and it'll be back to just square one, and Bray Wyatt will be irrelevant again. So I'm not even holding my excitement anymore. The Firefly Funhouse is run its course. Asuka and Kairi Sane were also on this show, surprisingly so, and apparently next week in Tokyo, Kairi Sane and Asuka are going to be facing the Iconics, and if they win, they get a tag team title opportunity. My question is, they said next week on Smackdown, but next week on Smackdown is in Portland. I checked the events. They don't go to Ryogoku until Friday. They won't have an event in Ryogoku till Friday and Saturday in Tokyo. So I don't know when this is going to be airing. I don't know if they're going to have a special episode, a special thing on the network for WWE in Japan. But that just made no sense to me. It's like you're saying it's going to be in Tokyo, but Tokyo is on Saturday. You made it sound like they're going to have the match in Tokyo on Friday or Saturday for the number one to see if they get a title opportunity. But apparently they must be having the match in Portland, and then they'll have the match in Tokyo, which I don't have a fucking clue if that's what the hell they're doing. This show started off with what we always see, a talking segment between people that end up leading to a match. Of course, this match that we're going to have, which is Xavier Woods versus Dolph Ziggler, was already scheduled ahead of time, but can we not just start the show with the match? Do we have to have what is it? What is that called? What's that type of comedy? The improv comedy group, the New Day, coming out there. Can we not just start the show with the match? Kofi welcomes everyone to Smackdown. They plug Stomping Grounds. The New Day start with some comedy until Dolph Ziggler comes out. Ziggler says it's just typical New Day out here distracting everyone for what we all know from Super Showdown. Kofi doesn't deserve to be WWE Champion. In hindsight, no, he doesn't. Ziggler goes on taking shots, going back and forth with the mic with Kofi. Kofi won Ziggler ahead of their singles match with Xavier Woods tonight. Ziggler promises to come out on top and then take the WWE title from Kofi at Stomping Grounds. Says Kofi doesn't deserve to be champion, and without the New Day, he is nothing. And then he says, "It should have been me! It should have been me! And at Stomping Grounds, it will be me!" God, I can't do that. My throat kills me. Also, the fact that Kofi Kingston in this segment said, "You forgot where this WWE Championship journey started, the Elimination Chamber, which is a cage." So I know what I'm getting into, and I'm like, first off, Kofi, let's forget the fact that Mustafa Ali got injured. Let's forget the fact that you had to go through a gauntlet match first off to get to the before the Elimination Chamber, and then let's forget the fact that the Elimination Chamber and a normal steel cage match are two totally different matches. Two totally different cage matches. The pain and suffering you go through in an Elimination Chamber, far worse than anything you would have in a steel cage match. So I don't know if Kofi's ever been in a steel cage match, if he forgot to be what a steel cage match is like, but everything that they go through on Sunday is going to be half of what he went through at the Elimination Chamber in February. Xavier Woods versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a good match. These two put on a good show. Before a commercial break, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out and attack Biggie and Biggie and Kofi Kingston, getting everyone thrown to the back. So it was down to Dolph Ziggler and Xavier Woods. Give you 10 guesses two guesses who actually won this match, because quite honestly, there was no doubt. Referee checks on Woods as Ziggler backs off. Ziggler nails a big super kick to the face while Woods is still tied into the ropes. Woods hits the mat and Ziggler covers him for the 1, 2, 3. So of course Ziggler was going to win. There was no way Ziggler was going to lose a match against one of Kofi's buddies and especially if there's no championship on the line and it wasn't Kofi Kingston in a non-title match or a tag team match. After the match, Ziggler stands tall as the music hits, and he exits while Woods is flat on his back. That would be the last time we see Xavier Woods for the rest of the night. They show us footage of the feud between Baron Corbin and the Universal Champion Seth Rollins from this week's Raw. We also see Rollins beating up Lesnar with a steel chair at Super Showdown, and Lesnar's recent chair shots to potential referees from Stomping Grounds. We see how Raw ended with Corbin standing tall over Rollins at the main event. We cut backstage to Shelton Benjamin, the B team, in the hallway. Chris asks when Bo Dallas still interested in being the special guest referee for Stomping Grounds. Shelton says they're not stupid and Baron Corbin just wants to use anyone he can to win a title, but he wants to use Corbin too. Matt Hardy comes walking out of Corbin's office, apparently after his interview with the special ref gig. Matt says, Senior Benjamin, you are next. Shelton's like, that's Mr. Benjamin. So there is your cameo for Matt Hardy and Shelton Benjamin for the night. So, and congratulations to the Matt Hardy and Rebby Hardy for the future third child, whether it's a boy or a girl. Congratulations to the Hardys for another child on the way. Back from break, and we have the moment of Bliss segment. Another Nikki Cross was with her. Bliss talks about Cross being her tonight segment, but stops so someone can bring coffee out. Out comes Bayley, who comes out instead, taking a sip of Bliss's coffee, which she doesn't approve of. This segment was cringe as fuck to start, but these two got very, very personal at the end. This hit some truths on Bayley and a little bit on Alexa Bliss. Bliss says Bayley crushed Nikki's dreams of being a tag team champion on Raw. Bayley says Bliss isn't really Nikki's friend. She's just using her, and says she's tired of Bliss and has had enough of her talking behind her back. There's Bliss to say it to her face. Bliss goes on about how she's always seen through Bayley. When she tried turning to the nice person in the locker room when she came here, and everyone was against her, but even Bayley made her feel worthless. Bliss said only Charlotte Flair made her feel welcomed. She says Bayley isn't a hugger, she's a liar. Bayley says Bliss is a lying again and making up scenarios that never happened. Bayley says Bliss is going to do with Cross the same thing she did to Mickie James and Nia Jax, which of course was turn on them. Which is kind of funny when you bring up Mickie James, because Bliss did turn her back on Mickie James and did the old woman, like, making fun of her because she's older than her with the cane and the pens. And then about 4 months later, they were back on the same page as best friends. Bayley says she hasn't lied to Bliss. Bliss just can't handle the truth, saying Bliss is not a goddess. She's just some entitled little princess who doesn't deserve a damn thing. Bliss goes on about how she's not entitled, and the War of Words continued. Bliss says Bayley has nothing but a place for her because, and this was something that I was like, she's not wrong with how WWE's treated Bayley. She peaked in NXT. Bayley does eventually slap her and fights her all around the stage. Cross pulls Bayley off and yells her to stay off. Bayley and Cross have some words, and Bliss attacks Bayley from the side and drops her, and Bliss music hits as the segment ends. Getting a little personal there. But yeah, thinking about that, it's like, yeah, Bliss is not wrong with the fact that way WWE's, like, not Bayley herself as an athlete, but Bayley's booking has peaked in NXT. Bayley, coming into NXT, a lot of people touted her as the female John Cena in the way of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Was John Cena has the most wishes in Make-A-Wish Foundation history. And there were people touting Bayley that if she gets up to the main roster, she will blow that away in no time. And the fact that people were just going to love Bayley and everything, and Bayley was going to be like the next big star. She's the girl next door. She's totally opposite of anything that has to do with diva. And her booking has peaked in NXT. And she came up to the main roster. Yeah, she was the women's champion going into WrestleMania 2 years ago. Then they had that moment of, now, Bayley, this is your life segment. Not too long after that, they did the whole kendo stick segment where she held a kendo stick, looking scared to the death of using it, and pretty much just killed her career. The only reason she's in it, the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, is because they want to put a big middle finger to Sasha Banks and say, fuck you. This is what happens when you don't do what we want you to do. We're going to just show you that, hey, Bayley stayed, Bayley came to work, and Bayley's going to get rewarded, unlike you. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Bayley and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss going into Super Stomping Grounds this Sunday. I honestly don't see why you would give the title to a Raw superstar when this is a SmackDown title. It would not surprise me if Lacey Evans loses, Bayley and Alexa Bliss loses, then Alexa Bliss moves on to the Raw Women's Championship. So there's that. Zelina Vega is backstage getting ready when Apollo Crews approaches her looking for Almas. Vega wonders if he's flirting with her or really looking for Almas. Crews is surprised. This leads to Almas attacking him and destroying him in a quick fit of rage. The camera cuts to Chad Gable off to the side taking some notes. You're wondering why Chad Gable is taking notes of Apollo Crews. Apparently, at house shows recently, the last 2 weeks, Apollo Crews and Chad Gable on a trial run to be a tag team. So we're going to do with the American Alpha 3.0. We're trying to work in an American Alpha 3.0. 1.0, of course, was Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. 2.0 was Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. Now they're looking to do Chad Gable and Apollo Crews. So, okay. I guess so. If Apollo Crews and Chad Gable are a tag team and they work out, more power to them. I mean, I would love to see Chad Gable in a singles role. This guy could go out there and wrestle with the best of them. He is a mini Kurt Angle to a T. But they want to go with this, so that's what they're going to do. Daniel Bryan and Rowan backstage as we go to commercial break. We have the B-Team, go away! Versus Heavy Machinery, not holding the Yolo County Tag Team Championships, those cardboard pieces of crap anymore. I'm glad they threw those in the bucket. B-Team, Curtis Axel, and Dallas got a jobber entrance because they were in the ring by the time we got to their match. Tag Team Champions Daniel Bryan and Rowan come out before they join the announce table for commentary and outcome Heavy Machinery. Biggest thing going into this match is that Daniel Bryan says that these two are great athletes. Daniel Bryan is a really odd heel because this guy will go out there, he'll speak truth in a way that you want to boo him, but when it comes to his opponents, he'll recognize what's good about them, but he'll also vilify what's bad about them. He talked about how these guys are great athletes, but they just joke around way too much. That's why they haven't had any tag team title opportunities. By the way, I think they're going to sell some tickets in Tacoma Dome now because Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to be facing Heavy Machinery for the SmackDown Live tag team titles at Stomping Grounds. Yo, WWE, you think you may want to book this match before Super Showdown before Super Showdown so you could sell tickets a little bit faster? If they sell a lot more tickets now because Daniel Bryan's on there because he is a Washington native, it would not surprise me. But WWE, you really think you should have booked this match a little bit, like a couple weeks ago, to help with ticket sales? The ticket sales, and somebody should be back there getting fired because they didn't have this match booked before. Match was not too long. A compactor to Dallas. Yeah, Dallas on the compactor. I like the way they do the compactor now because Otis holds them. They do the compactor, and while Tucker is in midair, Otis will roll out of the way so he lands on his opponent. They never used to do that. I like that little tweak to the compactor. It's nothing special, but it actually I think makes it smooth a lot cooler. You had the caterpillar. Daniel Bryan makes fun of that. They would Otis was doing his own type of Hulk up. He was shaking his hips and stuff, doing pelvic thrust and everything. And Daniel Bryan was making fun of that. Of course, he did say, well, one thing we're going to have to look out for is the compactor because that move is devastating. So Daniel Bryan knows that at certain times he's going to have to take these guys seriously, but if they want to start joking around, he will take advantage of it. After the match, Rowan and Bryan stare Heavy Machinery down as they celebrate. Otis and Tucker head to the ramp as the music plays and the Universal Champion Seth Rollins, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, hits the steel ring with the steel chair, unloads on Axel and Dallas with chair shots, taking turns as fans chant along with him. Rollins delivers a bunch of chair shots to the B team and stands tall in the middle of the ring as fans chant "Burn it down." So yes, Seth Rollins on his crusade. If you say, "Hey, I want to be the special guest referee," I'm gonna kick your ass. That's what is happening here. This is going to lead to Brock Lesnar being the special guest referee, isn't it? I just have a feeling that's where we're going, is that we're going to have Brock Lesnar be the special guest referee. Matt Hardy did not suffer that fate, and neither did Shelton Benjamin, as far as we know. We'll probably see exclusive videos going up in the next hour or so, or next few hours or so, with letting us know if that actually happened. We see a limousine pull up and out of the arena, and here comes the worst in the world, Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon not be on TV for at least a week, please. Steps out, and he has been confronted by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Inform him that Seth Rollins did. Sami says it's a guest here under the wildcard rule, and he doesn't feel safe. Owens agrees and says we've got to do something about this. Sami and Owens tell Shane he has a problem with both champions, Rollins and Kofi, because they are bad people. Shane proposes a 2 out of 3 fall, for whatever reason, a 2 out of 3 fall match with Rollins and Kofi versus Owens and Zayn for tonight. Shane walks away and says there's a few things to address. Sami and Owens aren't thrilled with the decision, and we go back to commercial break. Why in the fuck are we getting a 2 out of 3 falls match? I was fine with the 2 out of 3 falls match at TakeOver in New York because it was warranted. They wanted a definitive winner. 2 out of 3 falls 6-man tag team match last night made no sense. 2 out of 3 falls tag team match tonight made no sense. This just makes no sense. Why the fuck are you putting a 2 out of 3 falls match? I don't like 2 out of 3 falls matches just being thrown out there randomly, because you'll get a quick first fall, quick second fall, so we have an awesome third fall. No. And also, if you're going to do a 2 out of 3 falls match and you don't have all 3 falls in that match, then what's the fucking point? Get another pre-recorded backstage vignette for Aleister Black. He understands why no one has picked a fight with him, because he can hear their whispers as they pass by. He hears them talk about how Black was told he'd amount to nothing, how Black was a child, destined to fall from grace. He knows that they're thinking, but this is not a woe is me story. This is a woe my opponent story, because eventually someone will come knocking at his door. Someone will pick a fight with him, and they will fight their fight. Black shall change the essence of that man. Get this motherfucker in the ring. Enough of these fucking promos. I'm tired of it. This has run its course. The first 3 weeks is fine. In February would have been fine if this is what you wanted to go with. But having this guy for about a month and a half come out there and be like, or 2 months actually, pick a fight with me. Come pick a fight with me. I don't care. Why are you waiting for someone to pick a fight with you? Go pick a fight with somebody. You could have had the B team beat them up. You could have had Xavier Woods. You could have beat him up. I don't care. Just pick a fight with somebody. Enough of this. Oh, I'm just going to wait for somebody. If I'm Aleister Black, I'm knocking on Hunter's door and I'm like, Hunter, can I go back to NXT? Where I was actually appreciated, where I was actually used, where I actually got to show my craft and my skills, and I got to do what I do best, is kick people's heads off. That's what I would do, because this is just wasting a great talent again. Out comes Shane McMahon for another edition of the Shane McMahon Show with Elias and Drew McIntyre. No revival this time. 1, 2, 3. Again, more enjoyment painting a fucking door than watching this show. That's how bad this show is. Show was okay up until this time, until of course the Aleister Black stuff. But then I was like, you know what? I got this door to paint, so I'm going to crack open this paint can and I'm going to paint this door. Well, it looks like shit probably, but you know, I was better than fucking watching Shane McMahon talk out of his ass. Shane McMahon having more TV time than Oscar and Kairi Sane, Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, who hasn't even been on Smackdown Live since he was put on Smackdown Live, more than Matt Hardy, more than Shelton Benjamin, more than Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, and so on and so forth, is an absolute crime. If you could actually be arrested for this shit, Shane McMahon would be spending the rest of his year, the rest of his life, plus some, in jail. Shane tells Hamilton to say the grand introduction. Thank you for that, because I couldn't stand it anyway. Shane says he and Roman had an incident on Raw last night, but it's not here to discuss that. Shane says we're here to put a spotlight where it should be. on McIntyre. How about utilize through the ring and this guy go destroy somebody? How about that? You say Shane wanted him to end his Roman career last night, but he didn't do that because they're better men than Roman. Really? Because you were through a table. How are you going to end his career? Barry goes on about he wants Reigns at his best for the match on Sunday, and out comes The Miz. Yay. That's like the 5th or 6th wild card right there. Can we just end the brand split? I even said this on Twitter. Time to take the good old brand split behind the barn and put it out of its misery. Because this show is awful. Shane asks Miz why is he here. Miz says it's important that everyone watch what he has for us to watch. And we see a replay of the brawl in Shane's office on last night's Raw. We also see Reigns getting payback. Miz laughs and Shane isn't happy. Miz also shows us slow motion shots of Shane running from Reigns. Then Reigns hitting a Superman punch in his spear. Miz cracks jokes on Shane for sweating faster in slow motion, which, you know, I gotta admit, it's really odd to see a guy who sweats so badly be able to sweat faster in slow motion than in regular motion. It's just so fucking weird. Shane's really got to see a doctor about that because he sweats way too much. Miz has more, but Shane says that that's it, and he's going to fire anyone in the production truck if they show the footage. I was like, please, Kevin Dunn. Please, Kevin Dunn, show some more footage so they could fire your ass. No, it didn't happen. Miz knocks Shane for being the son of the boss. Also takes shots at Drew. Shane says Miz has daddy issues. Miz goes and says, You're just jealous because my dad's a billionaire and your dad is born from dirt, a baked potato. Whatever. Miz brought out what we're all feeling and just WWE using The Miz to project what we all feel. Shane, he says, when you came back as commissioner, you pushed for SmackDown to be the land of opportunity, to be different from Raw. But now, no one gets opportunity except for Shane and his crew. Says everyone is sick of Shane and the crowd goes crazy. Goes on and says Shane is his responsibility because I created this monster because after Super Showdown, after Crown Jewel last year, I pushed you to want to be a tag team with you. I wanted us to be Team Bestie and all that shit. Says it's his responsibility. He's the one who sent Shane down this ego trip and who will be the one to end it. They have more words, and Shane proposes McIntyre and Elias versus Miz, any partner of his choosing, as long as it happens in the next 10 seconds. I sorely thought that Roman's music was going to hit. All of a sudden, R-Truth comes out from under the ring. Boy, is he not good in the ring? Miz names Truth as his partner for the Awesome Truth reunion, because, you know, we all remember how terrible that was. Out pops, Shane makes the match official and says it will be a tag team elimination match. Why not just make it the handicap match that you know you want it to be? Why would you even do this? Also, free come down, hits in, we go to commercial break, and back from break, women's tag team champions, the Idiotics! God, I fucking hate these women. How much they have regressed since NXT is just mind-numbingly bad. These women had potential to do something. At least Peyton Royce did in NXT. She had the potential to be better than they were in NXT, but they brought them up, and they haven't done shit. Asuka and Kairi Sane and Paige are there. Paige wants the title shot for I'm not saying that name. That is a shit name. But the Idiotics insult them and turn them down. Paige reveals what she secured a match for her team at next week's live event in Tokyo, Japan, and if they win, they will earn a shot. Why is it happening in Tokyo? That is my question. And it's on a live event. There's been no advertisement that this live event is going to air on WWE Network next week. They would be damn foolish, especially if it happens on Saturday. Well, actually, no. I don't know how they would do that anyway. They're not going to have the show at 5 o'clock in the morning, are they? I was going to say, they would be damn foolish to tape that for Network on the 29th at the same time as the Fyter Fest because nobody would watch it. I don't know how that's going to work, or they're going to tell us about it the week after. You made it sound like Smackdown was going to be in Tokyo next week, which we know is not the case. But I guess you're going to have... Well, of course you're going to have Kairi Sane and Asuka win in Japan and then lose on pay-per-view at Extreme Rules, most likely, or whatever. But they're alive! They are alive! I was just asking last night, and I wasn't the only one just asking last night. What happened to these two? Where did Kairi Sane and Asuka go? Where were they when you had Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss going for the tag team titles? Now we'll see what happens not next week, but the week after that, obviously. Tag team elimination match: The Miz and R-Truth versus Drew McIntyre and Elias, two members of the three-man brand. As the three-man brand continues to rotate, it's Drew McIntyre and two partners. Right now, it's Elias and Shane. When Elias gets eventually booted from this, it'll be whoever else. So yes, the three-man brand is Drew McIntyre's stable. It used to be Braun Strowman and Dolph Ziggler with him. Then it was Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin, and now it's Elias and Shane McMahon. Who will take one of their places? Who knows? Truth gets eliminated pretty easily here. Then a group of superstars run down the ramp, start chasing Truth. Shelton grabs the WWE joke title and runs around the ring with it. He has no referee. A referee grabs the title and warns him that he has to pin Truth to get the title. Truth snatches the title, runs away with it, and superstars chase him to the crowd. Once again, Miz recovers at ringside as Drew stands tall and waits in the ring. And then that was... Miz gets beat after about 5 more minutes. Drew waits in the corner for Miz, talks trash, gets up and hits the Claymore after hitting a glass cow kiss. Please stop having Drew McIntyre hit the glass cow kiss. That is... We've had wrestlers in Japan, all around the world, be paralyzed or die from a headbutt. Enough of the fucking headbutts. You had a concussion lawsuit thrown out last year. Enough of the motherfucking headbutts. It is absolutely not necessary. I don't care if your head is made of cinder blocks. Someone is going to end up getting very fucking badly hurt. After the match, Shane raises his arm with Drew and Elias in the ring stand tall. The triple team attack begins now as Miz eats a Claymore. The Miz holds Drew back in the room and says 5 days, Roman, before delivering a Claymore to the Miz. So no Roman on this show. He must be too busy promoting Hobbs and Shaw. Don't give a shit. Ember Moon is backstage looking for Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, while Carmella is looking for R-Truth. They can't help each other and keep searching. They keep searching for who they're looking for. Before she finds Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Carmella says, if you find those girls, let them know we have unfinished business. So it looks like we might have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville versus Carmella and Ember Moon probably next week, most likely. I would, if I take a guess at it. He comes up to them who are eating donuts. They take shots at her. Sonya Deville says, I was just trying to motivate you to do something else other than, read books or play your games. He slaps the donuts out of their face, out of their hands and stuff. They both attack. Deville launches Moon into a wall as they brawl. Officials come over and break it up. Rose has a smile on her face while the bell is fired up. Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston backstage talking about Roman's steel chair because yay. Again, Firefly Funhouse segment from Raw. We go to commercial break. Back from break, and we have the 24/7 champion is outside looking for Carmella so they can leave. A referee appears, and Truth thinks his Uber driver. Drake Maverick appears dressed as Carmella. This leads to Drake pinning Truth by using the car to leverage pin Truth for the 1-2-3. Takes the title and he drives away. I'm not watching 205 Live. I'm sure he's going to lose the title back to Truth on 205 Live because he is the general manager of 205 Live still. Truth still thinks it was Carmella who pinned the title, and I'm going to say this right now. If this is WWE's way of copying out the fact that they've had Carmella help R-Truth for weeks with the 24/7 championship and not have her actually pin him and have Drake Maverick dressed as her pin him, that's kind of a big disappointment. The whole thing with them, the buddy relationship should be Carmella somehow, some way pinning R-Truth, whether it's like Truth gets knocked down or something and she falls over him or something and she accidentally pins him, whatever. This would be a total missed opportunity. Back from break, and it's time for the 2 out of 3 falls match. Why? Why do we need a 2 out of 3 falls match in the main event? Well, it became a first fall match right as soon as the bell rings. Bell rings, and bell rings, and Rose hit Kofi Kingston immediately, hit Sami Zayn with the Trouble in Paradise for the 1-2-3. 1 fall to them. This match was okay. Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins win 2 straight falls. Again, why have a 2 out of 3 falls match if you're going to have a quick pin to start out the show, and then a finish, and just have 2 straight falls? It just makes no sense. But they gave this match almost no goddamn time to have a third fall, so I don't even know why they had a 2 out of 3 falls match. Owens blocks a buckle bomb, but Rollins doesn't answer good. He comes right back with the stomp on Owens for the 1-2-3, and that was the match. After the match, the champions stand tall and celebrate as Rollins' music hits. We go to replays the final SmackDown before Stomping Ground goes off the air as both champions pose. Whoop-de-doo. Not a good show. Not a good show at all. This should have been better. This just shows how this show coming up on Sunday does not really matter, because they are not putting any care into these shows. Yes, you have good wrestling. Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Good wrestling. What does it mean? Nothing. Because it doesn't mean anything. Dolph Ziggler beating Xavier Woods means nothing. Having The Miz humiliated again means nothing. The only thing that I think would be a positive on this show was how personal Bayley and Alexa Bliss got. Like, that went from another moment of Bliss segment to, oh shit, they're getting personal. So, yeah, not a good show. 2 matches, I guess I can say I'm looking forward to somewhat is Heavy Machinery versus Team Eco Warriors, and Ricochet versus Samoa Joe. That's 2 out of 9 matches. Not a good show. Stomping Grounds this week is going to be absolutely terrible. And we're all just going to have to sit there and suffer through it. Again, and again, and again, and again. But that is your SmackDown Live review for June 18th, 2019. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitch and Twitter at The France Club, and I will see you guys tomorrow for NXT, the start of the next set of tapings, which they did tape back-to-back days, so the tapings are going to go all the way up to TakeOver Toronto. Till then, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.